recording. All right. We're all on recorded camera now. So.
I'll try not to pick my nose.
And I'm going to start everything off like it's for the radio because that's what's going to air tomorrow. So it's a little different than your typical Zoom thing. But all right, ready?
Yes.
All right. 93.9 FM, KWSS, and KWSS.org. This is the Dani Cutler Show, and we are heading into the 9:39 local spotlight. And I'm right now via Zoom. Those of you listening in the morning, it sounds a little weird because I'm on Zoom. Those of you watching, it looks like I'm just doing a live recording of my radio show. And you see, I have two wonderful guests with me. I have got Jarrod Compton and Jayme Fox with me. And Jarrod is Comptalo. So good morning, afternoon, whatever time of day it is, you guys.
Good morning.
Hi.
Yeah, I hope you're doing well. Thank you. And Jarrod, thanks for, I'm really glad that we're finally chatting because played several Comptalo tracks in the past. And so now everybody gets to meet you and find out who you are.
Hello, world. I am Comptalo.
That's it. And scene. We're done.
And done. That's the interview.
Thanks, guys. No, I think it's great. And tonight, we'll just throw it in now. Tonight, if you want a little more in-depth about all of the things Jarrod does, because he does a lot of stuff, he's on Dub's Private Reserve tonight at 7. So, yay.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
KWSS all day.
All day, every day.
I'll just have to throw in some tracks tomorrow today during the day and just
tomorrow today.
Oh my goodness. So Jarrod, give me some background, some music background, because I know you're a guitarist and singer, songwriter, rapper. How did you get started in music?
It all kind of started pretty much in high school. I had gotten my first guitar when I was 12, but I didn't really start picking it up till about freshman year of high school. Then I just started writing really bad songs on my guitar and teenage angst and all that stuff. But so I started writing songs, and then I eventually bought this soundboard because I wanted to try recording music, and I started just recording songs, learning how things worked. I mean, it was a pretty basic setup, just like a little 8-track board. And then I just started recording music, and I was in several bands over the years. Kind of just knew that I wanted to play guitar and write songs. And it's just evolved into this beast that I never thought it would have turned into what it is now. I'm just out of control. I can't stop creating things, and I guess that was pretty much the goal though. So.
Well, that's good. Creating is good. And especially now, thinking about it, continuing to create, I think, is very, very important. So that's good. And you have, in all the music that I've seen in your music videos, I mean, you have I like your connection to people and to the earth. And then also, I mean, it can be a little tongue-in-cheek at times, I think, as well. So
yes,
yeah, but I think it's good. It just, you're definitely coming from your heart in your music and with your lyrics, and I hear it in all of your music.
I definitely feel like my newest album was really just a step into I feel comfortable now, more than I have ever at this point. So it just became a thing that I wanted to celebrate, I guess.
Yeah. So Jayme is one of the artists who is on your album. It's a full-length album. What is there, 14 tracks?
11 tracks.
11. Oh, wait. You need more tracks.
I do, yeah, it was hard. I do have more. I'm still...
So, I mean, it is a full-length album, and one of the things you like to do is you are a solo artist, but you bring in artists to help collaborate with you, and Jayme is one of those. And Jayme, talk a little bit about working with Jarrod.
He's awesome to work with. He's very dedicated and driven, but he lets you have just fun with it and freedom to do what you want and take his music to other places. So he brought me in to do the live show and do the CD release, but we'll see when that happens.
That infamous CD release show.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. We'll stay positive. So
Oh,
It might be for
definitely.
another CD.
yeah.
It's going to be a double CD release. Yeah. So, well, let's talk about that a little bit because your original release date was in May. And
Yes.
you had a fantastic lineup together. It was all good, and you were getting ready to start marketing it. And then
It was
there it
this show
is.
right here that never happened.
Yep. And then COVID-19 shut us all down. And how has that, I mean, and I I've seen it. We're friends online. We've chatted about this before, and I know the struggle that it has been for you. Um, if you want to talk a little bit about that, how did you process to getting, because you rescheduled it twice?
Technically 3 times. There was a third reschedule that I never even talked about.
The silent rescheduling. But well, talk about that. I mean, what was, okay, I guess the question could be, why was it hope? Was you just hopeful that you were going to be able to do this instead of just, because I even flat out asked you once, why don't you just drop the album? Just put it out there. What made you want to take the path that you did and just finally throw up your hands and say, okay, let's release it?
I think it was more of like I didn't want to accept what was happening kind of a deal. Like I just wanted to pretend like that it wasn't happening. And I kind of wanted to believe that things would have gotten better around here a little bit by now, but they've gotten extremely worse. But I mean, me and Dubs actually put the show together. It was a thing that I came to him with, and it was like really like the thing that I think made me and Dubs become friends was like getting together and being able to talk about that stuff. So I held on to it a lot because of like, I felt like there was more to it than just being a show. Like it was like me creating a friendship and then like me creating the band. And like, I feel like me and Jayme have become closer since we started this. And it was bigger than just a show to me. And I wanted to believe it was going to happen. And I think that's why I held on so much.
I get it. And that's, I mean, I think a lot of musicians too felt that way. Live music, you don't realize, I didn't realize just how important it is until you don't have it. It's like that saying, right? Don't know what you got till it's gone, right?
Seriously.
And it has been, I mean, I have definitely felt a void since everything has shut down. And I think all of us, especially and then you saw when restaurants started opening up again, and all of a sudden it was like all these artists wanted to go and perform. So, you were definitely feeling it, but the venues couldn't really open. So,
Yeah.
that was the hardest part, I think, is the venues really wanting to open, because everything you've described are the things that I love about going and seeing live music. It's seeing all of your friends there. It's the camaraderie. It's the community coming together, and all of us have that thing in common with live music, right? And there's no better feeling.
Yeah.
We wouldn't know each other without live music. I mean, that's what brings everyone together.
Exactly. I mean, most of the people that I know, I mean, thank goodness for KWSS, because without KWSS, I probably wouldn't have been quite as involved in the live music as I am now. And I tell you, I just love it, and I'm so grateful for that, because and I want it back. So I definitely understand your struggle, Jarrod, with wanting to release it.
But I just came to a point where it was just like, dude, I just got to put this thing out. I've been sitting on this thing. I mean, I started working on it in like January of 2019 is when I first started working on it. So it's been a long journey, and I was just like, I have to move on. I already feel myself moving on artistically in a lot of ways. So I was like, I have to put this out and just keep moving forward. I have to just accept that it's going to happen that way and not be sad about it.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the album. Jayme, what were you going to collaborate on in the live show? Because you're not on the album.
No, I'm not on the album, but I play bass. Okay. So I was gonna be, or am, the bass player for the live stuff.
Yes,
am.
You are.
I am. Yes. It's not over.
Nice. And you guys were doing rehearsals and stuff, right? So you were putting it together. So how was that?
Great. Awesome.
We went through a couple lineup changes, but I mean, in the end, we actually before the show was actually officially canceled. We were like pretty tight unit for being a 4-piece with like totally stripped down versions of these songs. It almost sounds like a different band, like a different artist almost. The same songs, just like, I don't know. It was really cool how it turned out, and I'm excited to be able to take that out when we can.
Nice. No, it's gonna be good when we can all finally get together and hear the whole thing and hear, because I mean you've worked solo and you've put everything together and just have people come in and collaborate. So to actually have the live band, that, I mean, I'm sure that is quite an experience. So I can't wait to see it. I'll be there front and center.
Yay!
Whenever that happens.
Yeah, I don't want to forget to mention Zach O'Meara couldn't be here. He was on rhythm guitar, acoustic, and then we had Elliot Diggs on the drums, and he's from Painting Fences and Rundown Roommates, and then Zach's from my other band, Moons, Birds, and Monsters, and then he's in a few other bands around town also.
Nice. Well, let's talk about, let's go right into the collaborations on this album, because you speak of Moons, Birds, and Monsters, and you're also the guitarist in The Real Fakes, and
yes.
You have Kevin and the band collaborating with you on 2 singles on this album.
Yes. So
you have them, and you also have Nutter Tut from Optimistical.
Yep.
And who else is collaborating on that album?
Robbie from Mississippi Nova is on one of the tracks. We collaborated on something is probably the most different sounding thing on the record, I think. But yeah, we worked with him, and then Zach O'Meara is on a track, and then Kevin Michael Pryor is actually on almost every single song somewhere on that album. Like, I sprinkled his vocals all over the place. So
nice. Well, he has a very unique, awesome voice. I love his voice. So it's cool. It's very cool. So let's talk about the album. How did Not a Role Model? I keep wanting to say 4. That's what's in my head now. Ever since Ryan Clark called it 4.
And it's like, it's classic, because it's always been, I've always struggled with people pronouncing like Comptalo correctly, like the whole time I've been an artist. So it's just funny that I like created something else that became something that was like mispronounced. I find it so funny.
The first time I played Comptalo, he was like, "I sent you a voice memo, so you know exactly how to pronounce it."
Yeah.
But so where did the whole concept for Not a Role Model come from? How did this creation begin?
Well, I did the People You May Know album in 2018, which I like collaborated with 15 different local artists to make that album. I kind of thought I was at a gas at that point, and I didn't think that I was just gonna like take a break from making Comptalo music for a while. And then one day I got bored, and I just started doing this song, and then it turned into Ambivert. And then I did the other song, Shadows, and then that was kind of like, oh, I kind of like the way this sounds. I'm gonna keep rolling with this feeling that I have. And before then, I didn't have the Not a Role Model thing. Like, it wasn't I didn't even have that created at that point. And then I had a track, and I was like, hey, Kevin, this track I think you would go perfect on this track. It's got like a Stone Temple Pilots vibe to it on the chorus. I want you to do a chorus on it. So I went over to his house, and we recorded that song together, and his lyrics on that song were, I have always been this way. And that was like pretty much the only lyric on that song, but that line like sat with me like really heavy. So I when I was doing all the post production stuff on it, I started sprinkling little Kevin quotes, I have always been this way, and like reversing them, and then reversing all of his vocal parts, and like doing all this weird stuff with his vocals, so he's like all over it saying that. And I just like every song is just about something that I struggle with that I think other people can relate to. And the I have always been this way, in the number 4, you'll see the number 4 in every single song title that representing the A's. But 4 is like the number of just like being yourself spiritually and stuff. So I think that links with the I have always been this way quote. But once the whole project came together, kind of just like jokingly thought like, wow, these are all about me. I'm not quite the role model. So that's just what became the title. I found it funny, and got super stoked about it. So that's just how the whole concept came about. I hope that makes sense.
No, it does. I like that. I like hearing the background on how it came together, and I see why you enjoy collaborating with others. I mean, you've always done it. And what was the one? Was it the EP in 2018, the one where it was Ben Anderson you collaborated with and a bunch of others?
That was the People You May Know album.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, that one, which is on all streaming services right now.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I think that was the last time I played you before the World Burning EP, which was funny that you dropped that one before.
Yeah, because it's all stuff I did after.
Everybody's doing things in weird sequences now. It's like all bets are off for everything. So what's the schedule?
Yeah. Who needs it? Throw it out.
Jayme, obviously, I'm sure you've listened to the entire album.
I have.
What are your thoughts on it?
I love it. It's in my car right now. Like, I play it all the time, which is funny. I don't get sick of it. And each song is different, but it's all cohesive, which is really, really interesting that he's hit so many different genres. And because a lot of people always ask, like, oh, what's the style of music? And I'm like, boy, it's all over the place. You have the song with Kevin, Angry, is very, 90s rock, heavier, less hip hop. And then like Ambivert is, you got a lot of synth on there, and it is hip hop. So he's all over the place, but it's all done just really well, and it grabs you and you listen to it and you like all of it. And his lyrics connects a lot with everyone. So
right. Yeah, that's what I found too, is it's one of those where you just want to listen from beginning to end. You don't want to jump around.
Yeah. It's almost like a story through the whole entire thing. So
yeah.
It's
Have you got a favorite track, Jayme?
Ooh, I don't know. I bounce around a lot. My favorite to play is probably Angry, when we do play.
I messaged Jarrod this morning when I was listening, and I was like, I like Angry.
Yeah, but Take Me Away with Mississippi Nova is really, really good too. That one I like. But Not a Role Model, Nobody, like they're just all good. So yeah. And he did good.
How about you, Jarrod? I mean, this is your work. Do you have a couple of favorites?
I really like Titan. I really like the song, but I like it a little bit more for like the experience that it was, and being able to work with a local artist that like we did not know each other at all, and he was like super cool to be like, yeah, I'll work with you. And I just like went over to his house, and it was super like chill vibes, and so I really enjoyed that track for a lot of reasons. And then my other one is probably Eraser. It's got like a 90s synth Radiohead vibe thing going on. I just really like that one a lot too.
Nice. So what do you want the people who listen to this album, which is now available today, all streaming services as well?
All of them.
So yeah, anywhere you want to get it. I would suggest Bandcamp, because then you can go pick up some merch too. But
got some cool merch packages. You can get like a T-shirt and a sticker and a CD.
Absolutely. All the things you could have bought at the live show and will buy at the live show.
Yes.
What do you want listeners to take away from this album when they hear it?
I just want, wow.
I know. It's a deep question. Sorry. I
just want people to be able to understand who they are and love yourself, and don't be angry, and everything's going to be okay.
All right.
That's the best I got. I don't know. I hope that was deep enough.
I mean, yes, I think it's great. And, and I think all of that coming together when you listen to the album and you listen to the collaborations and it's all together, that's exactly what they're going to get out of it. So good on you. It's a great album. So congratulations.
Thank you
for it and for finally letting us hear it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having us on to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. What are let's throw out the socials. Is it just Comptalo or Comptalo Music? What are your handles?
It's just Comptalo on Instagram and Facebook, And if you Google me, I'm literally the only thing that comes up because it's a weird thing that I made up. So
Awesome.
so you
Awesome.
can just Google me.
Sounds good. All right. Well, thank you both, Jayme, Jarrod.
Thank
Thank you
you.
guys for hanging out with me for a little while this morning. And now for our radio listeners, not the Zoom listeners, but we're going to get into the 939 local spotlight, and we're going to play that title track.
Yeah.
Yeah, Not a Role Model. And then you all can go over on Spotify and listen to the whole thing.
Yes.
So, all right. Thanks again, you guys. And let's get to it. Today's 939 local spotlight on 93.9 FM KWSS. Here is Comptalo and Not a Role Model.